She ignored you? Let her feel the price of that silence. Must watch psychology tricks. Sometimes silence is the loudest answer you can give. Unknown. When she ignores you, she's not just disappearing, she's observing. She's not testing your patience, she's testing your composure. She wants to see if you'll lose yourself trying to keep her attention, or if you'll stay grounded when she pulls away. Every man has felt that sting, the seen message, the sudden quiet that feels like rejection. You start replaying every word, every emoji, wondering if you said too much or not enough. That's where most men stumble, not because she withdrew, but because they gave their power away chasing an explanation. Here's what most don't realize. When a woman ignores you, she's holding up a mirror. That silence isn't punishment, it's revelation. It shows you whether you're leading with confidence or clinging with insecurity. Attention is the currency of attraction. Spend it too freely, and its value collapses. The wise man doesn't fight for attention, he earns respect through restraint. When she pulls back, she's subconsciously asking one question. Will you keep chasing, or will you make her wonder what she just lost? The Stoic man doesn't plead to be noticed. He lets his calm presence speak louder than any message. He doesn't respond to silence with emotion. He responds with discipline. Here's the paradox most men never master. The moment you stop needing her validation, you become magnetic. When you stay quiet instead of reactive, patient instead of panicked, she feels it deeply. It's not revenge. It's reflection. You're showing her that your energy has value and your attention is earned, not assumed. In this video, you'll learn how to turn silence into strength, how to make her regret taking you for granted, and how to let her feel the absence she thought she could handle. Because when you stop chasing, the power shifts. That's when she starts to wonder, not why you disappeared, but how she became so easy to forget. Let's get started. 1. The psychology behind her silence. When a woman ignores you, don't rush to assume it's because she's lost interest. No, it's rarely about the words you said. It's about the message she wants to send without saying a single word. You see, silence in female psychology is an emptiness. It's strategy. It's not the absence of attention. It's a test wrapped in mystery, a quiet experiment designed to see what kind of man you truly are when she takes hers away. Because believe me, she's not ignoring you out of boredom. She's measuring your composure, your patience, your ability to stay centered when your ego wants to react. That's the real battlefield of psychology tricks. Not flowers, not sweet texts, not witty replies, but silence. And here's the truth most men overlook. When she goes quiet, she's not rejecting you, she's observing you. She's watching your energy, your control, your response to uncertainty. Will you stay grounded, or will you crumble? Because no woman wants to fall in love with a man who loses himself the moment she steps back. She wants to see if you can lead, not chase. Be that man. Be the one who can sit in stillness and let the storm pass without flinching. The silence isn't her retreat, it's her mirror. And what you reflect in it will determine how she feels next. If you panic, double text, ask what's wrong, or beg for clarity, you just told her everything she needed to know. She had the power all along. That's when she stops feeling attraction and starts feeling control. But if you breathe, stay composed, and let the quiet hang in the air, something remarkable happens. The energy shifts. She begins to wonder, did he even notice? Or worse, does he not care? And that's where the female psychology magic starts to unfold. When she realizes you're not chasing her validation, her brain enters what psychologists call cognitive dissonance, that mental tug-of-war between pride and emotion. Her ego screams, he should be trying harder, but her emotions whisper, then why isn't he? That whisper grows louder with every hour of your calm. Suddenly, curiosity creeps in, and curiosity, my friend, is the seed of attraction. She starts checking your stories, rereading your texts, scanning your online presence for signs of care. She's no longer testing you, she's trying to understand you. You didn't chase her, but now she's chasing the feeling of being noticed again. That's the twist in psychology tricks most men never see coming. You've reversed the polarity, because when you stop feeding the test, you start passing it. Remember, Silence is her attempt to see if she still controls your emotional thermostat. If your mood sinks, she wins. But if you remain unshaken, calm, self-contained, focused, she starts questioning herself. She feels that unfamiliar pull of respect, the very root of how to fall in love in her mind. And here's the beautiful irony. When she sees that her silence no longer disturbs your peace, that's when she starts to feel something real. Because a man who can master himself is infinitely more magnetic than one who needs constant reassurance. Don't explain. Don't argue. Don't chase. Be silent, but not cold. Be present, but not needy. That is the art of control, the ultimate masculine posture. A Stoic man doesn't take her silence personally. He recognizes it for what it is, a dance of emotions, a test of balance. He doesn't play the game. He sets the tempo. He understands that when you no longer react to the push and pull, the power dynamic changes. Silence becomes your ally. Because silence, delivered with confidence, speaks volumes. It says, you can't control a man who controls himself. And that realization doesn't just intrigue her, it shakes her. It lingers. It makes her see you differently. Suddenly, you're not just another man seeking validation. You're the calm in her chaos, the presence that doesn't demand but commands. And that, my friend, is how to fall in love begins, not through chasing, not through words, but through the quiet confidence that says, I don't need your attention to know my worth. Once she feels that truth, she'll never forget it. Because nothing captures a woman's mind, or her heart, faster than realizing she's the one who started thinking about you first. 2. Why chasing her kills attraction. When a woman starts to pull away, every instinct in a man screams at him to do something. You feel that itch in your chest, to call, to text, to explain, to remind her of what you had. You tell yourself it's an act of love. But deep down, you know it's fear. The fear of losing her attention. The fear of being forgotten. The fear of not being enough. That fear can make even strong men forget who they are. It hijacks your masculine energy and turns it into panic. And that's exactly why chasing her kills attraction. Because in that moment, she no longer sees the man she was drawn to. She sees a man trying to prove his worth, not a man who simply is worthy. That's not love. That's desperation dressed in devotion. Attraction doesn't live in pursuit. It lives in presence. A woman doesn't fall for the man who needs her validation. She falls for the man who walks through the world knowing he's already whole, even without her. That is the essence of a high-value man. He doesn't chase approval. He embodies certainty. When you chase, you shift the balance of power. You turn your focus outward, trying to make her see your value. But real value doesn't announce itself, it's felt. You can't talk a woman into attraction. You become the kind of man who attracts women effortlessly. The more you chase, the more predictable you become. And predictability kills mystery. Mystery is oxygen to attraction. It keeps the flame alive. It's what makes her wonder, analyze, and desire. When she knows exactly where you stand, when you're always available, she stops being curious. She stops feeling. She no longer sees the calm, grounded man who first caught her eye. Instead, she sees someone emotionally hooked on her reactions. And dependence, no matter how poetic it feels, never builds respect. Understand this clearly. Chasing a woman who's pulling away doesn't bring her back. It confirms that you'll never let her leave. And once she knows that, she loses something far more powerful than interest. She loses admiration. Women don't fall for words or gestures. They fall for energy. They're drawn to the man who doesn't need to prove, explain, or perform to be seen. The one who, when faced with silence, doesn't crumble. He pauses. He observes. He redirects his focus toward his purpose. That pause, that powerful stillness, does more damage to her ego than any speech ever could. It's the invisible reminder that you are not afraid of her absence, that you don't need her attention to breathe. When she pulls away and you stay calm, she starts to feel something unexpected, distance. Not physical distance, but energetic distance. It's the kind that makes her feel the absence of your warmth, your attention, your effort. At first, she'll act like she doesn't care. She'll pretend the silence doesn't bother her. but deep down, she feels it. That difference begins to grow inside her, quietly, relentlessly. It turns from pride into confusion, from confusion into curiosity, and from curiosity into longing. That's the power of silence from a man who once gave everything. It's the calm, masculine energy of someone who refuses to beg for love. That energy is magnetic. It's what truly attracts women. The Stoic man doesn't chase, because he knows chasing never restores respect. It only deepens imbalance. You can't convince someone to value what they've already decided to take for granted, but you can remind them through your stillness that their absence doesn't break you, it frees you. That realization hits harder than any message you could send. The moment you stop chasing, she starts to see you again. Not because you tried harder, but because you became scarce. And scarcity, to the feminine mind, is irresistible. That is the secret of a high-value man. He knows his worth, speaks less, and moves with quiet confidence. He doesn't need to prove. He lets his energy do the talking. And that kind of presence doesn't just attract women, it commands respect. So next time she pulls away, don't chase. Be still. Be composed. Be that man who doesn't flinch in silence. Because when you hold your ground, you remind her of exactly why she was drawn to you in the first place. And that's when attraction isn't just reborn, it's rekindled with fire. If this message hit home, like the video and share it with a brother who needs this reminder. Comment below to anchor this mindset, and don't forget to subscribe for more psychological insights on masculine energy and attraction. Comment to remember, my silence is strength, not weakness. 3. The power of silence and emotional control. Silence is not weakness, it's dominance disguised as stillness. When she ignores you, don't chase. Don't explain. Don't beg for attention that disrespected your presence. Your silence becomes the mirror that reflects her behavior back to her, and suddenly, she's the one questioning herself. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That's Old Stoic wisdom in action. When you master emotional control, you show that you live by Stoicism win, the discipline to rule yourself before attempting to rule any situation. Every man must understand, silence isn't empty. It's strategy. It's saying, my peace is my fortress, and not everyone gets a key. The iron mind doesn't react. It observes, measures, and acts only when necessary. Most men panic when ignored. They break their dignity by chasing validation. But you're not most men. You're building an iron mind that thrives in calm, that stands firm in uncertainty. In a world that rewards noise, your restraint becomes your power. He who angers you conquers you, said Elizabeth Kenny, and she was right. Your reaction is your surrender. Don't hand over your power just to prove a point. Hold your silence like a blade. Let her feel the absence of your energy, the quiet storm of your composure. Because silence, when owned with confidence, speaks louder than words ever could. In modern life, we live surrounded by distractions, messages, and emotional traps designed to make you react. Social media wants your attention. People crave your response. Women test your balance. But the Stoic man stays unmoved. He doesn't let the chaos of the world penetrate his calm. That's the essence of Old Stoic wisdom, the strength to maintain your inner equilibrium no matter how loud the noise outside. You must develop that iron mind that doesn't flinch, that doesn't crumble under silence. When she withdraws her attention, it's not a loss, it's your opportunity to show self-mastery. Don't chase her shadow. Don't feed her ego. Let her feel the quiet consequence of ignoring a man who values himself. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. That's the core of Stoicism win, victory over your impulses, triumph over emotional dependency. Let's be real. She expected you to crumble, to text twice, to beg for clarity. That's how the average man behaves. You're not that man. You're the man who makes silence your ally, not your enemy. You're teaching her that ignoring you doesn't break you, it exposes her own instability. That's power. That's control. When she realizes you've moved on emotionally, that you're no longer waiting, the silence becomes her punishment, not your suffering. And make no mistake, That's not cruelty, it's consequence. You must stop rewarding disrespect with attention. Let your silence be your standard. Let it speak for your worth. The man who holds his ground commands respect because his calm presence carries weight. That's what the iron mind looks like in real life, steady, sharp, and self-assured. In today's fast world, real masculinity isn't about muscles or dominance. It's about emotional discipline, the ability to stay grounded while everyone else loses control. You must understand that emotional control isn't coldness, it's clarity. It's the art of responding only when it serves your purpose, not your pride. Every time you resist the urge to explain, to defend, to prove, you're forging the armor of the iron mind. The man who can sit in silence without anxiety has already won. That's Stoicism win in its purest form, mastering the storm within until nothing outside can shake you. Don't let her silence turn you into a beggar of validation. Let it turn you into a builder of strength. Because one day, she'll remember the man who didn't react, who didn't chase, who didn't lose his center, and she'll feel the weight of that memory. So here's the instruction. Don't break your silence. Don't seek closure. Don't explain your worth. Let your composure speak. Let your absence echo. Build your life, sharpen your focus, embody the calm of the old Stoic wisdom. Remember, every reaction you resist adds another layer to your power. Every moment you stay centered is another victory for your iron mind. You must decide to lead your emotions, not be led by them. That's the path of real men, the men who conquer themselves before they conquer the world. Silence is your weapon. Discipline is your armor. Emotional control is your crown. Use them. Master them. Win with stoicism. Because the man who owns his silence owns his life. 4. Making her feel the loss without saying a word. When you finally stop reaching out, stop explaining, and stop trying to fix what she broke, something powerful happens, not to you, but to her. The silence you create becomes the loudest lesson she'll ever hear. At first, she'll pretend not to notice. She'll scroll through her phone, act unbothered, convince herself she's free. She'll post something cute, half expecting your name to pop up, half wishing it would. She'll tell herself she doesn't care, but here's where the psychology tricks begin to work. Deep down, her subconscious, that quiet, honest part of the female psychology, starts to whisper that something's missing. It's not you she misses right away. It's the feeling of being desired, that gentle validation that used to come from your steady presence. You were the warmth in her winter, the calm in her chaos, and when that warmth disappears, it leaves a cold she can't name. That emptiness is the price of ignoring you. You don't need to post mysterious quotes or pretend you've moved on with someone new. Don't chase her shadow online. Be still. Be silent. Because real power doesn't brag, it breathes. It's felt. It lingers. The best psychology tricks aren't games, they're control. You make her feel your absence by withdrawing your energy, not your dignity. When you stop feeding her ego, she starts to replay every memory where she felt seen, admired, wanted. Suddenly, your silence becomes a mirror, and she can't look away. That contrast between your constant attention and your quiet withdrawal burns into her awareness. She starts to realize it wasn't your messages she craved, it was the feeling of mattering. Now, she feels the difference between noise and peace, between validation and value. And that difference? That's everything. Every time she opens her phone and doesn't see your name, every time she posts and you don't react, every time she subtly tries to pull your attention and gets nothing but silence, her balance tilts. The power shifts. You're no longer the one waiting. Now, she's the one wondering. She starts to ask herself, what's he thinking? Where did he go? Who is his attention now? That's not punishment, that's reflection. You're showing her what peace looks like when it's no longer shared with her. You gave her the silence she handed you, but you did it with calm, not anger. That's the secret most men never learn. Because silence born from peace attracts, silence born from bitterness repels. Be still, not spiteful. Be grounded, not cold. That's how you make her feel the loss, not just notice it. When she senses your detachment, her mind starts comparing the before and after. Before, you were warm, responsive, emotionally available. Now you're focused, distant, unbothered. That's not cruelty, that's clarity. The contrast ignites her regret. She might tell her friends she's fine, but her subconscious knows better. Because what the mind can ignore, the body still feels. The absence of your energy echoes like a song cut short. It's not your voice she misses, it's how your attention made her feel important, how your presence made her feel safe. And here's the beauty: the Stoic man doesn't manipulate. He doesn't play games. He doesn't chase. He simply allows her to sit in the silence she created. That's mastery. That's emotional control. This is how female psychology works in the raw. When a woman once used to your attention suddenly faces your absence, her brain rewires the meaning of what she lost. You don't need to learn how to fall in love again. You need to learn how to stand still while she replays what she destroyed. You must understand, this isn't revenge. This is restoration. You're restoring balance. She's not regretting losing your texts. She's regretting losing your energy. You didn't beg, you didn't break. You simply became what every strong man becomes when he stops chasing peace. And that peace? It's magnetic. It draws her in without effort. Because when a man masters silence, he doesn't fade, he becomes unforgettable. She'll begin to feel that pull, that quiet ache in her chest that doesn't announce itself, but grows louder in the quiet moments. That's when she remembers the way you used to listen, the way your steadiness grounded her chaos. You don't need to teach her how to fall in love again. Your silence already does. Because when she finally realizes that ignoring you was never the win she thought it was, she'll also realize she traded something rare for something hollow. Your calm, your presence, your energy. That's the real loss. And when the truth finally hits, when she feels that her silence cost her access to a man who never begged, who never fought dirty, but who walked away with dignity, she'll understand what words never could. In the end, it's not that you vanished. It's that your absence became the mirror where she finally saw her own emptiness. And that, my friend, is the most profound of all psychology tricks. If you find today's content useful to you, don't forget to share your feelings and lessons with us. Or simply comment, "Very cool." It's a great encouragement for our channel makers. Thank you very much. 5. Turning detachment into power. Detachment isn't about walking away cold. It's about walking away clear. It's not bitterness. It's balance. It's that quiet decision that your peace costs too much to sell for temporary attention. Most men misunderstand detachment. They think it means shutting down emotions or pretending not to care. But real detachment is the opposite. It's feeling everything and still choosing discipline over desperation. It's knowing you want her but refusing to chase her. It's seeing her pull away and resisting the urge to prove your worth. That's strength, not because you stop caring, but because you start controlling what you care about. That's masculine energy in motion. The moment you stop reacting to her silence and start responding to your own standards, everything changes. Detachment isn't about her anymore. It's about you. It's no longer about what she thinks of you. It's about what you think of you. When that shift happens, you stop living in emotional debt. You stop spending your self-respect to buy temporary comfort. You stop negotiating with your peace. Instead, you start investing in your purpose, your routine, your calm. That's what a high-value man does. You don't go silent to hurt her. You go silent to heal yourself. You redirect the energy you once wasted trying to fix her silence into building your presence, your strength, your focus. You hit the gym, not to prove a point, but to remind yourself who's in control. Every rep becomes a reminder that you're choosing yourself again. You work in silence, move with patience, and speak less, not out of anger, but out of alignment. You stop being the man waiting for her return and become the man returning to himself. That's not arrogance. That's evolution. Reaction is emotion trying to escape. Power is emotion contained. When you master detachment, you stop chasing closure. You don't need her to explain why she pulled away. You already know that people's actions reflect their capacity, not your value. Her silence becomes her answer, and your silence becomes your boundary. That's masculine equilibrium, the ability to remain calm in chaos, not because you feel nothing, but because you've learned to manage everything. Here's what most men never realize: detachment amplifies attraction. When a woman feels you're no longer emotionally dependent on her validation, her curiosity wakes up. She starts to feel the void of your energy, not as rejection, but as respect. You're no longer an option waiting for her attention. You've become a standard. And that shift? It's magnetic. Women aren't drawn to perfection, they're drawn to presence. To a man who moves with purpose, speaks with calm, and radiates quiet confidence. He doesn't need to prove his worth because he already lives it. The man who says less and does more sends a message words can't deliver. I am in control of myself, and that's why no one else can control me. The Stoic man uses detachment as a mirror, not a weapon. He doesn't use silence to manipulate. He uses it to reflect strength. He doesn't run from emotion. He rises above it. That's power. Not the ability to hide what you feel, but the ability to channel it. Detachment gives you back everything chasing took from you, your mystery, your confidence, your peace. It reawakens your masculine energy and reminds you of your value. And when she realizes she no longer has access to your emotions, only the memory of them, that's when the power shifts. Because the truth is simple. When you stop chasing her, she starts chasing herself. When you stop needing her attention, she starts craving your presence. That's not manipulation. That's balance. The game changes not because you controlled her, but because you finally controlled yourself. Be calm. Be patient. Be disciplined. That's what separates a boy from a man and a man from a high-value man. That's how you attract women without saying a word, by becoming the kind of man who doesn't beg for connection, he embodies it. 6. The art of rebuilding respect. Respect is not reclaimed by words, it's reborn through transformation. A man who chases validation loses his power. A man who commands his silence gains it back. She ignored you? Let her feel the price of that silence, not out of vengeance, but evolution. He who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior, said Confucius, and that's the essence of old Stoic wisdom. You don't rebuild respect by explaining your worth. You rebuild it by becoming the kind of man who no longer needs to explain. Let her wonder what changed. Let her question what she lost. Your absence, your discipline, your silence, they become your loudest weapons. That's Stoicism win. Not reacting, not chasing, not proving. Just existing with purpose. Just standing firm in your evolution. When you vanish into self-mastery, you stop playing her game. You start mastering life. Your energy shifts. You no longer move from emotion. You move from logic, control, and clarity. That's an iron mind. That's what separates men who talk about change from those who embody it. Women sense that shift long before they admit it. When your tone becomes calm, when your energy becomes unbothered, when your focus becomes unshakable, she feels it. She can't manipulate what no longer reacts. She can't control what's centered. And that's when respect is rebuilt, silently, powerfully, inevitably. Don't chase her attention. Chase your evolution. Don't fight for her validation. Fight for your alignment. Every second you spend trying to make her understand is a second stolen from your purpose. You must reclaim it. That is your battlefield now, the inner war, the quiet rebuilding. Old Stoic wisdom teaches, man conquers the world by conquering himself. Stop seeking closure in her words, find it in your silence. Stop explaining who you are, show it through your discipline. She won't believe your growth until she feels your peace. Your transformation must be undeniable. Be still. Be focused. Be unshakable. That's Stoicism win. The art of walking away with grace, of mastering emotion, of making your silence the loudest statement. Let's be clear, respect is never begged for, it's commanded. You don't earn it by reacting to her distance. You earn it by becoming distant from the need to react. When you pull back, you give her space to feel the void you once filled. Not the noise, not the chaos, the calm. That quiet strength shakes her more than any argument ever could. When you rebuild yourself in silence, your transformation becomes your revenge. The best revenge is massive success, said Frank Sinatra, and that's exactly what this is about. You must evolve until her opinion no longer matters, until your path is so aligned that her silence becomes irrelevant. That is victory. That is power. That is an iron mind. The man she once admired wasn't desperate. He was detached, mysterious, calm. He didn't beg for attention. He commanded presence. Somewhere along the way, you traded that peace for pursuit, that confidence for approval. And that's when she lost respect. But when you reclaim that old Stoic wisdom, when your eyes reflect focus instead of fear, she feels the difference. Her pride resists it, but her intuition can't deny it. She remembers the man who didn't chase, the man who walked with quiet confidence, the man whose silence spoke louder than any promise. And that's when the shift begins, not when you talk, but when you no longer need to. Don't tell her you've changed, let her feel the change. Don't try to prove your worth. Live in a way that makes proof unnecessary. You must embody what the Stoics called apatheia, mastery of emotion, control of reaction. That's how you win, through detachment, through focus, through purpose. That's the mark of a man who doesn't flinch when tested, a man who doesn't crumble when ignored. You must build such an iron mind that her silence no longer wounds, it sharpens you. Every moment she spends wondering, you spend building. Every second she waits for a reaction, you gain ground in silence. That's how respect is rebuilt, not with effort, but with evolution. You become the man who vanished into discipline and returned unrecognizable. Your calm becomes magnetic. Your silence becomes strength. Your focus becomes freedom. She won't just see the difference, she'll feel it deep in her gut. That's when regret replaces arrogance. That's when respect returns. That's Stoicism win, the art of commanding life through control, of mastering emotion through silence, of turning pain into power. Remember, you don't rebuild respect to win her back. You rebuild it to never lose yourself again. So stand firm, speak less, move with purpose. Be the man who no longer needs to be understood, only felt. And that feeling, that power, that evolution is how you master life, how you reclaim peace, and how you win the only battle that truly matters, the one within. If you've made it this far, you already understand. Silence isn't weakness, it's evolution. You don't chase respect. You become the kind of man who commands it. Comment below with power. My silence is my evolution. 7. The moment she regrets ignoring you. There's always that quiet hour when everything stops. No more noise, no more distractions, no more pretending. That's when she finally feels it. The weight of her own silence. The echo of what she ignored. It doesn't hit her while she's busy uploading her new smile or flashing her "I'm fine" life for everyone to see. No, it sneaks in later, when her phone stops lighting up, when her pride stops whispering, and when her thoughts finally start to tell the truth. That's when the regret begins to breathe. It's not about losing a man who texted too much or cared too hard. It's about losing the peace that came from your presence, that rare calm that made her feel steady without even knowing why. That's female psychology at work. The heart always wakes up when the silence becomes louder than attention. Here's the psychology trick most men don't understand. Regret doesn't arrive when you're still chasing her. It arrives when you stop. Because your silence isn't absence, it's a mirror. It reflects everything she didn't value, everything she overlooked, everything she assumed would always be there. At first, she'll fight it. She'll tell herself you were too serious, too unavailable, too composed. She'll rewrite the story to make herself the hero. But deep down, she knows the truth she can't post about. She ignored the man who didn't just want her. He deserved her respect. That's not arrogance, that's reality. Female psychology runs deep, and when a woman feels the loss of emotional safety, it shakes her more than any breakup ever could. Every woman remembers the man who didn't beg, the one who didn't turn her rejection into a performance, the one who stood tall, calm, grounded, like a mountain that doesn't chase the wind. That's how to fall in love with yourself again, by mastering control instead of reaction. Because when she realizes you are that man, and she let ego replace appreciation, regret becomes her shadow. The irony? It's not your messages she misses. It's your energy. The way you listened without trying to fix her. The way your silence felt like protection, not punishment. The way you made her feel seen without needing her validation. That's the kind of connection no social feed can replace. Soon, she'll scroll through your page again. She'll see something in you that wasn't there before: peace, not bitterness, not revenge, just pure, unshakable calm. And that calm cuts deeper than any clever line ever could, because it shows her you've accepted what she tried to control. Acceptance, that's the ultimate form of power. She expected drama, a chase, a breakdown, but you didn't give her any of that. You walked away like a man who knows that distance isn't defeat, it's dignity. Be that man. Be the one who understands that control of self is the loudest statement you'll ever make. That's the secret psychology trick of attraction: not chasing, not pleading, but staying still in your strength. Now she starts to compare. She measures your quiet confidence against the noise of other men, the ones who crowd her messages, flatter her, try too hard. And suddenly, the chaos she once called excitement feels empty. Because in a world where everyone's talking, your silence speaks the loudest. You stood out not because you were flawless, but because you were patient. And patience, that rare, mysterious calm, is magnetic. It's how to fall in love with yourself and make her remember why she once felt safe around you. That's the paradox of male and female psychology. The man who doesn't demand attention becomes unforgettable. Regret now turns into reflection. Reflection turns into curiosity. Curiosity becomes longing, not always for another chance, but for that feeling she can't recreate. The stability she dismissed now feels like home she can't return to. And that's when she realizes the Stoic man never needed revenge. He didn't post quotes or play games. He simply lived in a way that reminded her what peace feels like. And every time she meets another man who mistakes chaos for passion, she'll remember your quiet strength. That's the true price of ignoring a man who's mastered himself, not that he leaves, but that his calm follows her everywhere. It whispers through her thoughts, it visits her dreams, it reminds her of what she threw away. That's not arrogance, that's consequence. So, don't chase her. Don't explain yourself. Don't break your peace for someone who doesn't recognize its worth. Be the man who lets silence speak for him. Because silence, when it's owned, becomes power. And power, when it's calm, becomes unforgettable. That's the deepest lesson in female psychology. She may forget your words, but she will never forget how your peace made her feel. That is the real psychology trick. You don't make her regret ignoring you. You simply become the kind of man she'll regret losing every single time she meets someone who can't match your stillness. 8. The Stoic man's final lesson. At the end of it all, the lesson isn't about her. It's about you. It's not really about what she said, what she did, or why she pulled away. It's about what that silence forced you to confront within yourself, the insecurities you tried to hide, the emotional control you never realized you lacked. Every man eventually meets a woman who awakens something deep in him. She's not your punishment, she's your mirror. Through her distance, she teaches you what real self-control means. She doesn't break you, she reveals you. When that moment comes, you have two choices. You can chase her and lose yourself, or lose her and finally find yourself. The high-value man knows which road to take. He doesn't chase. He chooses. Because he understands that rejection isn't humiliation, it's refinement. It burns away everything false, everything weak, everything desperate, until only discipline remains. And that's where true masculine energy is born. When she ignored you, it wasn't the end of your story. It was the beginning of your transformation. You learned to sit in silence without losing your sanity. You learned that a text left unanswered doesn't define your worth. You learned that love should never make you beg. Most men never reach that level. They live their entire lives trying to fix, chase, and prove themselves, thinking effort will replace self-respect. But the man who has walked through emotional fire and stayed calm becomes untouchable. He radiates peace, and peace, once earned, is priceless. The Stoic man's final lesson is simple. Never trade your self-respect for connection. Never let the desire to be seen make you forget your own value. Love deeply, yes, but never at the expense of your identity. Give your presence, not your dependence. Let your energy be felt, not wasted. When a woman pulls away, don't fight for her attention. Let her feel your absence. Because the absence of a disciplined man carries more weight than the attention of 100 desperate ones. Your silence becomes your signature. It tells the world you are a man who chooses clarity over chaos, composure over impulse, purpose over validation. That's what defines a high value man: his peace, his restraint, his power. Here's the truth: once you master this lesson, you stop fearing loss altogether. You no longer beg to stay in anyone's life. You understand that people are either aligned with your peace or distractions from it. You stop seeking closure because you are the closure. You stop demanding loyalty because you attract it naturally through consistency. You stop begging for love because you've realized you are already enough. That's real power, not arrogance, not coldness, but inner balance. The kind of power that doesn't crumble under silence, distance, or rejection. And yes, someday another woman will ignore you. When that day comes, don't flinch. Don't chase. Don't explain. Just remember who you've become. You are no longer the man who needs to be heard to make an impact. You are the man whose silence speaks volumes. The man whose calm presence makes others question their own chaos. That's the man she'll never forget, not because he stayed, but because he left with dignity. Her silence tested your emotions, but your silence revealed your evolution. And that is the price of ignoring a stoic man. A high-value man doesn't need to prove his worth, he embodies it. He doesn't chase women, he attracts women through focus, self-control, and calm masculine energy. He doesn't demand attention, his stillness commands it. That's not arrogance, it's mastery. That's not pride, it's power. That's not silence, it's control. So when she ignores you again, let her feel the weight of that silence. Because the strongest move a man can ever make is no move at all. And remember, when someone goes silent, don't chase them. Sometimes, the best response is calm confidence and focusing on yourself. Your silence has power when it comes from self-respect. If this video helped you, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. And drop a comment below. I always read and appreciate your thoughts. Thanks for watching till the end. See you in the next one. Stay strong, stay confident, and know your worth.